What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? What's going on? Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to this fine Wednesday edition of BS with Hannas. That's me. What's going on? I'm Nikki Hannas. This is my YouTube channel. I like to consider myself a musician and a fucking speaker and a writer, though I've been doing music a lot longer, so it's more natural to me. This is the talking part. You can find my shit at nickybhannas.com. All my stuff is there. You can go to patreon.com/nickybhannas. Everything I post, everything I make, I'm just posting right to the Patreon. Yeah, you can go to Substack or whatever. This is a fine Wednesday morning. It will be a quick one because I keep getting that goddamn click, 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 click in my headphones, bro. It drives me nuts. Oh man, and I don't know why. I restarted the computer and it worked, but I'm like testing every cable. I'm like testing every fucking input, looking stuff up online. Oh, it's so annoying, but that's okay. But yeah, just going to be a quick one today. I just wanted to drop in and say what's up. What's up, y'all, in the chat? My fucking 3 loyal listeners. Makes me feel real stupid. I appreciate you guys, but there's like that. Oh, good. Hey, what's up, everybody? Here's Mr. Hannes here to talk to you guys today. I got nothing, especially just doing my reading. You know what I'm saying? Walking and fucking reading and go to the gym, shoulders, go to work, so on and so forth. I want to start with that today, though. What do I got right now? Since I got to be quick. What I noticed when I did that bullshit in stream yesterday, just looking at Twitter, it completely changes the experience of doing this by having like no end, no goal, and no time limit, most specifically. Because I like to leave, the latest I like to leave to get to the gyms around 9. So I'm like, all right, I got about 8.5 minutes right now to put something useful out there without a plan, without an outline. We can get there, but it just changes the whole thing if I'm just straight up chilling, if I'm relaxed. It's a different state, being relaxed, letting whatever happen, versus like, oh, I only have so much time, I gotta make it happen. But that's it's still showing up. Still showing up. Anyway, what's today? This is from the John Maxwell Daily Reader. Some more back to basic type stuff today. He says that adversity motivates. And here's the paragraph I like from this one. If you can step back from the negative circumstances facing you, you will be able to discover their positive benefits. That is almost always true. You simply have to be willing to, though, because in those moments of adversity, sometimes it is personal. I kind of extrapolate from that as I just think and watch the, fallout, the effects, the ongoing drama of the Charlie Kirk situation. You know, there's a big response that people take it personally. There's a big response of people that are, affected by it in a very personal way. And that's like the big macro lens. There's an adversity that goes beyond us on the micro level, and it's like a macro adversity. And this has been shit that I've just been thinking about the past couple of weeks since it happened. And I was talking with some people last night about it, people that are not necessarily politically oriented, politically minded, fellow creative types. And this is after a couple weeks of discussion with my close friends and, talking about just kind of what we think about it, what we feel about it, whatever that there's no denying it to me. There's this grand adversity climate right now. Seems like, it's, again, I've talked about this a bunch too. It's that fine line between like being a victim and just acknowledging that the system is rigged against us and it's a fucking constant uphill battle. Nothing comes easy. Anything that comes easy is probably bad, So I'm talking with these cats about the situation, and even them that are usually pretty politically neutral, they're in like agreeance with a lot of the shit that I've been thinking about it. And the only conclusion I got is to just keep doubling down, which is where it goes from this macro thing, this macro problem, existential problem, if you will, to like, what do you do about it in the daily, in that zone of influence, that zone of proximal action that you actually have. And the only real response is to just double down on righteousness, to double down on the things we're doing, and do our best not to let that noise and all that other bullshit demoralize us or dishearten us, at least for me, because it does demoralize me when I fucking scroll too much. I mean, I was out here on Twitter last night just looking at how dumb it is. I'm just looking at the circus, but then I'm the idiot then, because I'm looking at the players in the circus, complaining about the fact that they're in the circus. What? Like, turn away. Don't pay attention to it. But there's that weird thing that compels me to pay attention to it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but you got to find the silver lining in it all, which is easier said than done. Mostly when emotions are involved and you're wound up about something. And I get wound up pretty quickly. It's easy to shoot first and ask questions later, so to speak. So that's what Maxwell had for me today. Embrace the adversities that you may be facing in your life and retrain yourself to view them as beneficial. Smartphones controlling all of us. Well, why do you think they call it a smartphone? Because it makes you dumb. You know, that goes back, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And it's our fault for relying on them. But they make smart refrigerators now. They make smart washing machines, smart cars. Like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's our fault for complicity, being compliant in whatever the fucking action is. So what do we do with it? That's like the constant ultimate differentiating factor there. And like I was saying, I was talking with my creative homies last night about it, and it's like, yeah, just keep fucking doubling down, dude. I'm talking with my guy. Shout out to All Smiles. That dude rules. Shout out to you, All Smiles, because that was some motivating shit we were chopping up last night, dude. I'm telling them I got this new little musical project I'm working on. They're all like, dude, be honest, the way you're just releasing music, man, that's awesome. Super, super fucking cool. And to me, it's like, it's just what I do. I don't think too much of it. I get real excited as I do it. Then the act of doing it takes a little while. And then by the time the release comes, I'm like half burnt out from it. I'm not, it's very casual by the time I release it. Because behind the scenes, there's like 6 months of doing stuff. All the work is actually past. That initial blast of excitement has become a casual, normal thing. But then when the work is done and I look back on it, it's like, yeah, cool, very nice. But on to the next thing. On to the next thing. Can't sit and just celebrate too long. Got to go on to the next thing. And my man, All Smiles, he's like real into the art game and like photo game, and he's doing all types of crazy shit. Makes a lot of merch, real into t-shirts and hoodies and like vintage thrifting. Like that's a world of, I don't know, I guess threads, streetwear, stuff that I'm not so familiar with. But we're talking, and I'm like, dude, this is like, thank you. Like, for one, I appreciate the recognition, the encouragement. That goes a long way. Encouragement goes a very long way. And you know, I'm like, dude, on to the next thing, bro. A constant war against complacency. It's not even like we have to reject being complacent. We certainly cannot enjoy being complacent. At least some of us are oriented this way. There's plenty of people that have no problem. They don't see an issue. There's no dissonance in just hanging. Just, same old, same old. They don't see an issue, so they don't like. I look at that as a bad thing. It's not even just like I have to reject being complacent. I certainly cannot enjoy being complacent. I have to wage war, active war against complacency. Be a belligerent party and wage war upon getting complacent. Because I ain't so satisfied in the grand scheme of things. Satisfied momentarily. Satisfaction comes here and there. Insatiable, some could say. And he was agreeing with me. And then he's showing me, he's like, dude, look at this little collage I made of everything I did in 2024. So he pulls out his phone and he's got this like little photo thing that he put together of just all his works from all last year. And he just kept one picture, next picture, swipe, 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 swipe. Dude had like 10 photos of just a collage of all his shit. And I'm like, yeah, bro, that's the fucking move right there. That's that motivating shit. Just do it. Just be in the flow of it, whatever it is that you're doing. And after looking at this absurdity in the outside world, they can only dwell in that shit so long. And I'm pretty much past dwelling in the outside shit of this, the Charlie Kirk assassination. Evil as it is, horrible as it is, the straight up traumatizing horror, a deliberate act of fucking, be it actual terrorism or psychological warfare, terrorism, psychic warfare, energy harvesting, if you will, whatever it is. Now it's quickly reverting back to the political shit show where the demoralized among us say, well, nothing's going to happen. And it don't feel like anything's going to happen about it to me. But I'm doing a disservice by even vocalizing that. So let's hope for the best, but expect the worst. And let the outside world just be the outside world. The only real action is to double down. And insofar as I'm fucking concerned, I love chopping that shit up with my man last night. Because what I did since I released all this music in the past month, I got this little playlist on my, I use Amazon streaming. So I got this little self-indulgent playlist of mine. I call it the Hannas Complete Discography. So all the music I've ever recorded is on there. All the Rolling Loaded stuff, all the Nicki Hannas stuff, all the Shady Marksman stuff. I have it all on one fucking playlist. And it's a trip for me when I'm feeling particularly introspective to just put it on shuffle. Let's just hear all the shit. If I'm on a long drive, I'll just play it start to finish. That's a really interesting autobiographical self-analysis. And I like my music, even the old shit, you know. I still it hits a certain note for me. It's my creation. I'm going to enjoy it from time to time. But that shit's like 40, I want to say it's 41 songs in 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours of published music. That's fucking sweet. You know, when I was 14 or 15, that's who I wanted to be. Tatted up and kind of jacked. Didn't expect being bald at 33, but I like it. I didn't expect this white ass beard by 33, but I kind of like it. So if there's a mass confusion event, an adverse situation in the out there, got to reorient the in here. But it's very tricky when you're looking at it, man. Even if it's adversity in the workplace, you know, if someone's being a dick, just obstinate, insubordinate, incompetent, whatever, that's adversity to a T. That's exactly what it is. We ought to be a team and have this desired output, this desired outcome from whatever it is we are endeavoring at. And sometimes it's just one fucking person. It's just one thing that is just obstructing that. So how do we react to that? I typically react with force and with agitation and anger. I up the temperature to mixed results. But what do we do with it? What's the silver lining from that? Sometimes there's not a silver lining unless you really like, at least for me, get too self-aware with it. You know what I mean? I got a couple instances of characters at my job that it's like no matter how many times you correct them, they don't change the behavior. No matter how many times you try to coach them friendly, like mentor, like they just don't catch on. How many times do you rage and wrath upon them? And still the same thing persists. The same things continue to happen. So where's the silver lining in that? I guess at some point I have, and now it's me against me. If this fucking individual is just so consistently inconsistent that it's a problem for the team, but no matter how many times I rationalize it or explain it or try and actually holistically fix the situation by hook or by crook, now it's a me against me problem. And even if it affects the whole team, the whole group, the whole culture of the whole place, how do I manage it? If I'm the one that's in the position of management, how do I? And it's a mystery. I ain't figured it out yet, you know, because you don't necessarily want to be that dude that's just like, all right, you know what? Chop the fucking heads off. Set the example. Get rid of them. Any problem, first sign of, red flags or whatever, get out. Done. That's not in my realm of being able to actually do. That's a little bit above my authority. And B, it's like, that's not good. That's just not good. You don't want to set that example. Sometimes it's necessary, I guess, but since I can't do it, why even think about that? Oh, if only I could do this. You're fucking just running your own gears at that point in the face of adversity. So what's the silver lining there? Self-awareness, I guess. And then the trick is, well, all right, I'm so self-aware, but to what changeable, to what actionable steps? What's the silver lining there? Now my gears are just turning. Well, enter the idea of retard maxing. This is where it becomes useful. I've ascended through the bell curve. EMP, I showed you that bell curve where, like, on the bottom end, it's like the idiot. On the other end, it's the ascended genius. And then all in that middle is just the frustrated fools. What you don't want to be is a frustrated fool. The idiot and the ascended genius have the same they understand the same thing. It is what it is, he says at the stupid end. It is what it is, he says as a sage on the other end. And everyone else is just coming up with all these reasons and all these explanations and theorems or whatever, trying to change what simply just is. So what's the silver lining? I guess that depends on the whole situation. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking about today, as told by Mr. Maxwell. I like this John Maxwell daily reader. I like these daily readers, man. I like just having, I'm still reading Anti-Fragile. I'm still doing my 75 hard reading, and I'm reading a couple other things too, but I do like these. September 24th, adversity motivates. It doesn't actually often motivate, but it does force the best out of you. Adversity will force the best out of you, but motivation is fleeting. And typically motivation feels good. Even if it's adversity motivating, if it's a feeling from that, a lot of times it's like, again, at least for me, if there's an adversity, how would you say, like, adversity manifests itself in my life through a person or persons, my reaction is, more of a fight. All right, fuck you then. But that's not a good feeling. That's not a motivating feeling. I guess it is, but that's not the association, That's like a reactionary thing, like a competitive thing. There's a fire there, which I guess is good, but it don't always feel good. It's more of like if we're on a football field, it's like I'm gonna knock you straight on your motherfucking ass. Is that motivation? In the sense that I'm gonna be a much better version of myself. I don't know. What do I know? What I do know is that I said I'm gonna go for 8 minutes, and I'm on to 17 minutes. So time to pack it up. Time to fucking hit that dusty trail and go do some shoulders. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me on this fine Wednesday morning. At one point or another, there were 4 of y'all in the chat. Now there's 2 of y'all. Y'all the real ones, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. BS with B. Hannas. Good morning, B. Hannas. That's me. Nikki B. Hannas here on YouTube. This eventually goes out to Spotify podcast, Apple Podcast. BS with B. Hannas. Find my music, NikkiBHannas.com, NikkiBHannas.bandcamp.com, Nikki B. Hannas on all streaming services. Things I write about, NikkiBHannas.substack.com. Everything condensed into one. Patreon.com/Nikki B. Hannas. Keep it real. One love. Let's get back to that wrong path shit. I'm out of here. Peace. Where's a sweet spot?